Welcome to HITea with Grace, where we spill the tea on HITea. Today, I'm honored to welcome to the pod Nick Adkins, founder of PinkSocks, an amazing male ally and community builder with a new book out about all of his adventures. How you doing, Nick?
Grace, it's so good to see you. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Too. Nick is just a bright, smiling face in the industry. He is in many industries, but he is just an orb of goodness, and I can't wait for you all to learn from him today. So let's start at the beginning. Who is Nick Adkins, and what inspired the creation of PinkSocks?
Well, I'm just a guy who wears a kilt and fun pink socks, and I ride a pink furry bike, and my dog is a real live teddy bear. And how PinkSocks began was a long time ago, back in 2012 in Portland, Oregon. In June of that year, I walked into a friend's kilt shop in Portland. He said, "Have you ever worn a kilt, Nick?" And I said, "No." He goes, "You want to try it?" I said, "Yeah." And so that was June of 2012. That was the last time I wore pants. I bought a kilt that day, put my blue jeans in a bag, and walked out and never looked back at pants. And so one of the things I immediately discovered about wearing a kilt is you have to wear fun socks. You can't be that guy, that geek in Bermuda shorts and the black knee-high dress socks. You can't be that guy. So I went and bought all the fun, funky socks I could find, and my sock drawer was just full of, socks that had robots and cupcakes and unicorns and fairies and T-Rexes and Sasquatch and, just all kinds. But the ones that seemed to get the most, "Hey, I like your socks," were these pink knee-high socks with black handlebar mustaches. And so fast forward from 2012 to 2015, a friend of mine, co-founder at a company that we had started back in Portland, creating some really cool technology in the healthcare space around HIPAA compliant video file management, ability to record, store, and share video all on a HIPAA stack. We were going to go to a conference to kind of get our name out and start meeting new people and socialize what we're doing and try to raise money and all the things you do in a startup. And so that was April of 2015 in Chicago. Andrew Richards and I went rolling into the McCormick Center in Chicago at HIMSS that year. And I believe your listeners probably know what HIMSS is. Yeah. Don't have to explain that. Okay,
good.
Absolutely.
We all know HIMSS.
The Super Bowl of health IT conferences. So I told Andrew, I go, "Look, I don't even own pants. And so, there's going to be 42,000 people in suits and ties at this thing, and everybody's playing dress up. I've just got kilts. And so how about this? You don't dress up either. Just wear some blue jeans, wear a brew pub t-shirt, roll up your pants a little. I'm going to go buy 100 pairs of these pink socks with the mustaches on them, and we're just going to give those away. We're going to gift them as we go in. People are going to see us, and they're going to go, 'Hey, what's your story with these pink socks?' And we'll say, 'Hey, this is Andrew. I'm Nick. What's your name?' And we'll just connect and gift people pink socks along the way. And that's what we did. We started using the hashtag PinkSocks, one word, always plural, at that conference, and it took over the event. It went viral. A lot of this is in the book, so I don't want to get too much into the story of the OG origin story.
It's just fun to hear it because, I have been in your PinkSocks community for so long. I don't even know how long. And it's become more than just the socks and knowledge of, it's become a symbol of connection, empathy, joy. And so what do you think makes this community that you have somehow sparked so special and enduring? And how did you connect that symbol of those things to the sock?
It was all by accident. And so people say, "Well, what do you do?" I said, "Well, I spread love and kindness around the world." So like I just came back from an event in Boston, and I'm in the elevator, I'm going down, and somebody's looking at me and they say, "Well, what do you do?" And I say, "I spread love and kindness around the world." And there happened to be somebody in the elevator who is in the PinkSocks tribe who's actually wearing their pink socks. And he looked at the guy who's questioning me, and he lifted up his suit pants leg and showed the guy's pink socks and goes, "He really is. He's really spreading love and kindness." And you should have seen the guy's face. So, it accidentally started, right? So I say it accidentally started a global movement about spreading love and kindness. There never was a plan on this. It just happened organically. It grew through the years. For your listeners who don't know that whole backstory. And again, I don't want to give away too much from the book, but I'll give you this. Andrew and I in 2015, that year, we and into 2016, we continue to show up at conferences, health IT conferences all around the country, gifting pink socks. And we would show up and people would go, "Oh, do you have some more pink socks?" And they would come up to us and we would give pink socks. And that's back when Twitter was fun. We'd take pictures and everybody would tweet and we just had a great time. And so a year went by and now it's time to go to HIMSS 2016. And I believe that year it was going to be in Orlando. They always kind of go Orlando, Chicago, Vegas. That's kind of the three cities they rotate in. And I'm sitting on my sofa at home and I was talking to Andrew on the phone and we're like, okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to take with us? And I said, well, we're not taking pink socks. We had fun with that. It was great. We made a lot of new friends. We really had fun, but we can't go back and do the same thing. We've got to come up and give something different, And no joke, Grace. I'm literally saying that to Andrew on the phone and I get a DM from somebody on Twitter and they said, "Hey, did you just send some pink socks to somebody in the Netherlands?" I'm like, "No, why?" So go log in. So I log into Twitter and see this. Oh my gosh, there's a guy in the Netherlands who had sourced pink socks on his own and was gifting them in the Netherlands to help drive awareness for the work that he's doing with Alzheimer's and dementia care. I was like, "What?"
Oh my goodness.
And then immediately my DM goes ding again. Somebody else sends me a DM and says, "Hey, Nick, did you send some pink socks to somebody in Wales?" I'm like, "No." So I look over there. There's a guy in Wales who had sourced pink socks and was gifting them to drive awareness for the work that he's doing for ataxia, which is a rare disease. It's at that moment that Andrew and I went, "Oh shit, this thing has gone organic." People are, and Andrew's like, "What are we going to do?" I said, "Andrew, get a bigger bag. We're going to take more than 100 pairs of pink socks to this next HIMSS." So where in 2015, we had each taken 50 in our little backpacks. This time, I think I got 200 or 250 pairs and we went rolling in and continued to give pink socks. And we've never really looked back. And in 2017, I believe it was, I got invited to do a TED Talk in San Francisco. And when the TED people called me and said, "Hey, we'd like to invite you to come up on the stage and, give a talk." And I was thinking telemedicine. That's why they're calling me, because one of the main use cases for the tech stack that we built, this open API, was for telemedicine, asynchronous telemedicine. And she goes, no, I don't want you to talk about telemedicine. I'm like, "Well, what do you want me to talk about?" She goes, "I want you to come tell the story of the pink socks movement." And I was like, "Well, no, it's not a movement. It's just a bunch of happy, smiley people gifting pink socks and, and having fun making these connections." And she's like, "No, it's a movement. And that's why we're calling you. And so would you come do the talk?" I was like, "Yeah." And so 2017, that October, is when we added the puzzle piece to the design element of the socks, right? So the OG, the original gangster pink socks, just have the mustaches. In 2017, we added the puzzle piece to that design element to represent the power of connection, pink socks connecting people all around the world. And here we are. We've gifted over 300,000 pairs of pink socks all around the world. I know you've been.
I personally gifted probably 1,000 of them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because it's all built on this ethos of gifting. We want you to give them away. We want you to wear them, obviously, but the real magic is in the connection that you have every time you wear your pink socks, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And also when you gift it, you have a little something that you say. Can you tell people about what you encourage people to say when they are gifting the socks?
Yeah. And so the instructions are on the label of the pink socks. And so the instructions are on the back. Says, "Hey, every time you wear these, you're going to connect with somebody new. Don't miss each one of those moments to stop and say, 'Hey, it's good to see you.'" But the label on the front says, "The world is full of good. When you believe it, you see it. Keep doing that." And it's that mantra, it's that belief that's where the magic happens, because when you wear your pink socks, someone who is like-minded like you will come up and comment and say, "Hey, I like those. What's the story?" Boom. That's the universe tapping you on the shoulder to get off your phone, stay on the train, another stop, right? Say, "Yeah, hey, I'm Grace. What's your name?" "Hey, Steve, it's good to see you." "Hey, wait a minute. I've got something in my bag here for you." And you reach in and you gift them their pink socks. And maybe if you've got two, you give them, say, these are for you and these are for you to gift somebody else, just like I gifted you these. Keep it going. And so this whole gifting forward method has really, over the past 10 years is what's made the movement grow. There is no business plan. There's no marketing team. It's just all of us, you and all the people we know in the health IT community and beyond, that we've had so much fun with this through the years. And it's grown beyond our original space. In 2018, we've got involved with schools in the U.S. That's, again, I don't want to get too much to that. That's chapter 5 in the book called The Teacher, that goes into how we became involved in helping schools. I believe we're now 34 schools in 9 different states, helping teachers with their social emotional learning curriculum, pre-K all the way through high schoolers. The kids typically on Monday wear their pink socks back to school every Monday, and each grade has a period that day teaching the attributes of kindness, right? So kindness, empathy, compassion, cooperation, inclusion, anti-bullying, all the things that grow good humans. And so it's just been fun to watch how teachers are using pink socks to help grow good humans for the world. It's great.
It's truly inspiring, from like children and to young people trying to learn how to be good humans to adults trying to figure out how to still be good humans and how to. And so I'm wondering, why do you think kindness and this concept of human connection intersect with this innovation in healthcare and technology? Because I know you naturally were in this industry, but I do think that there is a unique connection to why the type of people who are in this industry really grasped onto it.
Yeah, because a lot of the people in the health IT space, they're already experts in connectivity and technology. And it's one thing to master connectivity. It's a totally different thing to master connection. And so when we pick up our phones and we get our little thumbs going, that's connection. That's not connectivity. I mean, social media and the algorithms want to make us believe, and AI makes us want to believe that that's connection, but it's not. It's connectivity. And we cannot confuse the two, because there's a difference between connectivity, our phones, our computers, and connection, true, authentic connection. And what you and I are doing right now, even though it's on a Zoom platform, this is an authentic connection. You and I spent a few moments before we even started this just authenticating that we were real. That's my real background and that's your real background. We're not AI avatars. So and as AI continues to ramp up and scale up and almost get away from us, there's nothing more important than staying grounded in true, authentic connection. And and I know, because we've experienced it, pink socks helps us do that.
I've totally seen that. And then also when you wear pink socks, I find that you're more likely to hug a person when you meet them if they also have, which I find so fascinating, because it's saying I am a safe person that appreciates kindness and wants to connect. It's been so fascinating in that sense too. A handshake is wonderful, but a hug, that is so beautiful.
If we go to all these events, and we see each other across the room, or we see somebody else in pink socks across the room, or we're at a pink socks meetup somewhere. And, it is kind of this badge, if you will, that says, hey, I'm hug friendly. And I always tell people, I said, just because they're wearing the pink socks or they're wearing the Love More sticker or some, scrunchie or whatever, it's always best to ask if they want a hug. Just don't go in for the hug right away. Just say, would you like a hug? And 99.99% of the time, people say, of course I want a hug.
So true. So true. So now let's kind of talk a little bit about your book. So when did you kind of get started on this? I know everyone's been begging for it for a long time, for you to kind of get all of the story of it down in one spot. And what are you hoping the book's impact can have on the world?
Yeah, I'll tell you and I'll try to answer those kind of in the order you asked them. It took about 2.5 years to write this book. And I would consider it the most difficult project that I've ever worked on. And I've started companies and sold companies and survived business school somehow magically back in the day, and to write all kinds of papers and short notice. Oh my gosh. Writing this little book was such a project. It's 2.5 years of sitting down with it, of walking away from it at times. There was a year where I just literally shelved it and said, I can't do this right now. I'm just not in the headspace or the heart space to to do with this, and I'll come back to it. Years ago, from the very beginning, people would say, hey, you should write a book. You should be writing a book. And I'd go to all these conferences and be a keynote speaker and all this stuff, pre-COVID. And every time they go, where's your book? We'll promote your book. We want to hand out books at the conference. I'm like, I don't have a book. I'm like, oh God, looking back, I probably should have had a book. But this book really, it needed these 10 years to write itself, because it's not my story. It's our story, Grace. Yeah. It's everyone that you know and everyone that you don't know that has PinkSocks all around the world. It's our story. And so to curate those stories of HeartSpeak was difficult, because, I wanted to really realize that nobody has that much of attention span anymore to sit down and read a, War and Peace type book. I wanted it to be easy to read in one sitting, two at the most. So I wanted to just stay in the flow of the story. But it was difficult to decide what to include in the book and what to leave out of the book, because there's so many stories along the way. So the challenge of writing the book, and the book's name is PinkSocks, How a Pair of Socks Became a Symbol of Love and Connection. It's available now in hardback and Kindle or ebook. And I would suggest getting the hardback, because the hardback has some QR codes that are interactive that can take you deeper down the rabbit hole of that story or that picture. It's a little...
That is so cool. That is so neat.
A little more fun to have the hardback. And I'm encouraging people to get more than one copy, because you want your copy and then you want some copies to gift. Just like the book is going to grow and spread much the same way that PinkSocks has through the years. So this ethos of gifting. Like you've sat on the train or on the bus or a plane or been in line at the grocery store, and that person connected with you and you knew that's who you were going to gift those PinkSocks to. Same thing with the book. There's going to be that person that says, you're going to say, I believe this person, their heart needs to share in some of these stories in this book, and say that I want to gift you this book. You'll make a difference in somebody's life, just like you have gifting a simple pair of pink socks. The connection, that authentic connection that you made, the socks or the book or a token, reminder that once upon a time I met this really, really kind woman named Grace, and she gifted me this. The book was really a labor of love to tell a story that's all of our stories. So there was 3 real audiences I had to consider as I was writing the book. So we'll say these circles, right? So the first circle was everybody that's already in the PinkSocks tribe, that already has their pink socks. They know this, but maybe they don't know this much of that story. Or I really never knew the details on exactly, because outside of some social media posts that everybody's making or some stories I'll pick up at a meetup, I want to know more. So it was written to us, that audience. The second circle out were the people who they've heard about PinkSocks, but they don't have their PinkSocks yet, right? And then the third circle, the larger circle I hear, was people have no idea what any of this is about. And that's really the larger opportunity to share the message. And so it had to flow for all 3 of these circles, right? From the OG people out to the larger world, and say, are the stories and the HeartSpeak shared in this book, are they relevant for everyone? And I believe the answer is yes. And, seeing the early reviews coming in now, I think it worked, and I'm grateful.
Absolutely. And we are so grateful for you being willing to be so authentic and vulnerable and courageous at the same time to help build what has given us a space to then also be authentic and vulnerable and connected and creative.
Just a cheerleader. Come on. I've just been cheerleading each other along the way. And it's, we think of all of our shared friends in space and all the social media influencers and the thought leaders out there that you and I call friends. PinkSocks through these years has really been an opportunity for us to celebrate each other. So much of social media is about, hey, look at me, look how cool I am. Look at my fabulous vacation. Look at my coffee. It's got a heart on the latte. Oh, look how cool I am. PinkSocks is an opportunity for you to celebrate someone besides yourself. It's an opportunity to say, hey, look at what she's doing at her. Look at what they're doing at their hospital. Oh, their community. Oh, look, that's how we've grown, by celebrating and seeing each other, supporting each other, understanding that we're all in this together, that we're all connected. And, the central message of Pink Socks, this showing up with love and kindness and empathy, these are not new messages. The book is simply just a reminder to do that. And so I'm grateful for how you show up in the world each day with kindness, right? It's not always easy to do in a world that sometimes feels dark and fractured, but it is a choice. It is a choice to show up and to continue to show up with kindness and compassion and love. And that starts one person at a time, or how we interact with people one person at a time. This ethos of gifting and kindness, it transcends all ideologies, geopolitical borders. It's a timeless message, and it happens one-to-one. That first smile, that first connection, that first pair of pink socks. And we see our humanity in each other, that we're all so much more similar than we are different. Yeah. And when we can do that, start one person at a time, keep that going, that's how we change the world.
So inspiring. As you reflect on your life, what is one piece of advice you would give your younger self about your journey to come?
I think Shakespeare said it best: to thine own self be true. Follow your heart. Your heart knows the way already. Just show up and be you. Be your true, authentic self. Live your life, not the one that someone told you to, or the one that you think that you're expected to show up as. Show up as you, whatever that is. We're all so beautifully talented and gifted and unique in our own ways in this big puzzle of life. Each one of us is a piece in this big puzzle, that there's only one Grace. There's only one me, right? And we have to show up being who we really are. So I think that's the advice I'd give to myself if I could go back in time. And so,
to finish this conversation off right, where can our listeners find you online?
Yeah, I spend most of my time nowadays over on LinkedIn so it's Nicholas, Nicholas, Adkins, A-D as in Delta, K-I-N-S. Follow me there. PinkSocks.life is our website. That's also the easiest path to the book. Just go to PinkSocks.life. You'll see the book on the homepage. Can't miss it. Click on that, and that'll take you where you need to go. Tell you more about the book. There's some reviews on the site that can be helpful. And we have a presence on Instagram. PinkSocks.life is the website. It's also the Instagram account, PinkSocks.life. If you want to go see a bunch of happy, smiley people gifting pink socks around the world each day, follow us on Instagram. That's a great place. Nick is in PDX on Blue Sky. Nick is in just the letter N, PDX, which is the airport code for Portland on Blue Sky. But I'm just been hanging out mainly on LinkedIn. It seems like a lot of us moved over there.
Absolutely. And everybody, if you want to check out what the whole community is saying, check out the hashtag PinkSocks.
Hashtag PinkSocks.
Now, before I forget, in keeping with the high tea theme, what is your favorite mug to drink tea and or coffee out of?
Well, I have a mug that a guy named Dr. Jonathan Reichenthal, who is an author and a professor, and he was the former chief technology officer for the city of Palo Alto. Like when Apple and Google were being built, he was the CTO for the city. He's also a professor at a couple of universities in California, and he invited me to speak at one of his classes at Menlo College, which is one of the schools he teaches at. And I came in and gave a talk to a class, and he gifted me a Menlo College coffee mug, and I put a pink, one of the mustaches, the Pink Socks Life mustaches, on the thing. And, if this was on video, I probably would have the coffee mug right now showing it to you. But that's my go-to every day, every morning. I have coffee, every afternoon having my tea. I use that because, again, it's a gift. It's a token. It's a reminder that once upon a time I did this thing, just like the socks, the book, etc. The things you see around me in my office here on the shelves, all of these are gifts through the years. These are tokens. I consider these things to be sacred. they've moved with me this far in life each time. These are the things that have made the moves because they're special. And each one of them is a gift, a reminder. And I can look around and I can see, oh yeah, Maram Mustaf in Austin. She went to Jordan, where she's from, and she brought me back those bottles of sand over there.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a PinkSocks tribe, and has hashtag PinkSocks in one of the other bottles with pink sand from Jordan. I mean, just I look around. So yeah, that coffee mug that Jonathan Reichenthal gave me is my go-to.
Too good. And thank you for the gift of sharing your experience and your wisdom and your journey with us. We're so grateful for it.
I'm grateful for you, Grace, and I'm super grateful for how you show up each day with love and kindness. Always remember that the world is full of good. When you believe it, you see it. So let's keep doing that. Okay.
Do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I let people know that all the proceeds from the sale of the book go to our nonprofit, PinkSocks Life Incorporated. PinkSocks is a 501c3 nonprofit, and all the proceeds from the book go to help us support our mission of spreading love and kindness around the world.
Love that. And thanks to you folks for joining us too. Don't forget to do that. And check out the HITea with Grace podcast for more interviews with great guests like Nick today. Cheers.
Like a Girl Media is more than a media network. It's a community. We want to meet you and amplify your voice and the voices of outstanding women innovating in healthcare. Interested in starting your own podcast or hosting an event near you? Connect with us online or in person. We're here to support and empower you.